Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked, here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're delighted you're here. We broadcast 2 hours from our farm right here in Missouri, high atop the Ozark Mountains. And if you'd like to call in and talk with your newest instructor, I'll tell you who he is in just a minute. I'll give you that number. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And for those of you new to the broadcast, there are about 250 of us here at USAPrepares.com. And we're experts in various areas. We're innovators. We're dentists, medical doctors, engineers, broadcasters, CEOs, surgeons, editors, researchers, authors, physicists, farmers, and we're students rising to become instructors. I'm delighted to introduce to you your newest instructor. He's a farmer, and he hails from New Brunswick, Canada. Werner Bock. Welcome, Werner Bock.
Yeah, good morning, Vincent, and thanks that you give me a chance to voice my grievances. They have been stewing for a long while, and on the official channels in the government, I did not get any response. The only thing I encountered has been over the last 40 years, cover up, cover up, cover up. And basically steering the farming, and many of the entrepreneurs and family-run businesses steering them toward the ultimate goal of globalization.
Mm-hmm. And that accent that we're hearing, Werner, is German, correct?
It's German.
Yeah. So you left Germany and you moved to New Brunswick. You left your farm in Germany, moved to New Brunswick, seeking what? What were you looking for when you moved to North America?
Well, my goal was, when I went into agriculture, we had a small farm at the outskirts of an ever-expanding town, and most of the land was I farmed on a lease base, and you never knew from one year to the next year when you would lose another piece of ground where you had put a lot of work in, and I could foresee already when there wasn't enough land around there for me to make a living in farming. Besides the point, make a living in farming. If you got $1 million or $2 million in the background, you can afford to farm a little bit longer until that is used up. But anyway,
mm-hmm. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So,
go ahead.
So are you saying that when you were in Germany, the farms were being taken over and less land was available to farm year after year after year, and you saw this, and so you moved to North America, British Columbia, to continue farming? Is that what you're saying?
No, I moved to New Brunswick.
I'm sorry, New Brunswick.
Yeah, okay. It's one of the three maritime provinces in Atlantic Canada. And basically, they are, in regard to farming and self-sufficiency in food production, they're the same disaster area as in the New England states. A region where at one time the food was being produced in a traditional, organic way, thanks to the diligence of successive governments on both sides of the border over the last 60, 70 years. Regions that at one time were self-sufficient, in food production and even were exporting food. They have been now net importers, where they're importing at least 90% of the food into the region. And this is what's being done with the cooperation and with the a lot of wrongdoing in the government. There's another thing in the background, and that is agricultural sabotage that has been going on here for a long while, at least the last 60, 70 years, where farmers' land was being poisoned. I came across it over 40 years ago, within 2 or 3 years after I came here. We were being lured in here because of large tracts of farmland weren't in use anymore, and they were reverting back to bushland. And we were being told, that it's because people were lazy. And within a few years, I realized that it wasn't that the people were lazy, but that there has been sabotage going on for at least the previous 20, 30 years, where chemicals, poisonous chemicals, were being dumped onto farmland to burn off farmers' field crops and force them into practices that were not sustainable. And this was being championed by the provincial government. And I have a whole paper trail over the last 40 years about the mischievousness and the criminal activity that has been covered up by those departments of agriculture and government agencies at the provincial and at the federal level, that were supposed to protect us from those criminals and predators. And about Agenda 21, and globalization, that has been a long time in the making here in the northeast of the United States, and here in eastern Canada. And I have some suspicion that it has been going on all over the continent. Basically, push us farmers into this so-called high-tech farming and chemical farming, that is not sustainable. And the new kid on the block over the last 10, 15 years is the GMO crops. And the jury is still out about the effects it will have about the population. But maybe that's a great way to achieve their population reduction, as it has been documented by the Georgia Guidestone, where they only want to have about 500 million people left on this planet. And what about the other 7 billion people? Get them out by hook and by crook. Mm-hmm. Trust the government. They take care of you. P.S. Anyway. Sorry about that.
There's no disagreement whatsoever from me, Werner. Let me share a little story with you. I lived in Virginia, on the east coast of the United States, for almost a couple decades, and there's a government organization, actually a couple government organizations, that work together to control farms quietly. And that is the Soil and Water Conservation District, and also the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA and the Soil and Water Conservation people. And what they do is they say, we can help you. We can help you with your farm. And you've got your cows in the woods, and you've got your cows drinking out of streams and ponds. And when they walk in the woods, they're rough on the roots. They damage the trees. They kill the trees. They pee and poop in the streams, and that's really a bad thing. So we'll help you, and they need clean water. So what we'll do is we'll drill a well, and we'll put in these cattle waterers, and we'll hook you to the grid, the power grid, so that you can run your well pumps, and you can provide clean water to these cows. And all we have to do to protect your woods is to fence your cows out of your woods, fence your cows out of your streams, fence your cows out of the ponds. And farmers will be paid between 75 and 90% of the cost of doing that. So these guys came out to my farm, and I showed them the farm, and I was a little more naive at that time. This was decades ago. And I showed them the farm, and they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll have a 35-foot buffer against the wood line. We'll have a 35-foot buffer around the pond and this low area here so that they won't be walking in it. And when they were done drawing this map, I hardly had a farm left. And they would have paid 90% of the cost of doing this. And it was in the $30,000 neighborhood, actually over $30,000 worth of trenching and pipe and well and so forth, and water lines. And they were going to improve my farm to the point where I would fail. I'd have clean water from a well, but I wouldn't be able to have enough cows to sustain farming. They would have put me out of business. And the contract that they want you to sign gives them the right to come on your farm 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 10 years. So if they feel like if your gate's locked and they want to come, they just hop over the gate, hop over the fence, walk around, take pictures, do whatever they want for 10 years, because that's what the contract says, and that's what the farmer would have to agree to get this 90%, we'll call it government money. Werner, here's the problem with that. And I did not take their money. But so many other farmers did. And so they had fencing that was done for free. They had water lines that were put in for free. But so I was at a disadvantage in terms of having a well dug or drilled for free, or almost free. So we had our own water supply, and we let our cows go into the woods, because in the hot sun, they need to be able to get out of the sun. And these soil and water conservation thugs and the USDA thugs would prevent the cows from getting shade and staying cool. And, we have some ponds here in Missouri on our farm, and the cows like to go swimming. And I don't have any problem with them going swimming, because they seem to want to do that naturally. The bottom line is that they want to have us under the illusion of being better stewards of the farm. They want to restrict the movement of the cows, reduce the number of cows, and make the environment more stressful on the cows. They can't get out of the rain, they can't get out of the snow, they can't get out of the sun, because these government thugs want us to keep our cows out of the woods. What do you think about that?
Vincent, a couple of years ago, here in New Brunswick government, somebody had that bright idea. They wanted to declare about, it boiled down to about 20% of the whole acreage of the land. They wanted to declare it wetlands, and it was so ridiculous. Areas they declared wetlands. It meant, in other words, that the farmers would lose roughly about 20% of their arable land, And, yep. I hear the music.
We're gonna hear that a lot during the next hour and 40 minutes. Werner Bock is with us, and I'm going to post some of his YouTube videos on the website during this commercial break at usaprepares.com. So if you want to see who Werner Bock is and hear his story, how many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy, or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. Goberkey.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class Werner Bock is with us. Let me spell his name for you. Werner. Werner. First name. Last name, Bock. And there's a post on the website, usaprepares.com, usaprepares.com, page 1, and you'll see one of the videos. And that will take you to YouTube where you can look at other videos. And Werner and I were talking about how the government gets involved in and kind of misleads us into thinking that we need to cooperate with them and we'll be better farmers. And believe me, it's very difficult to get good information from these guys who want to contract with you to reduce the acreage that you're using for your farm. And if you take their money, if you take their 75% offer to pay for a well or fencing or so forth, you are locked in for about 10 years, at least in the United States, where they can come and inspect your property whenever they feel like it. And I was not interested in doing that. And when I moved to Missouri about 10 years ago, I met with these guys, and they they drew up a plan to reduce my farm to something that I couldn't even use. I would have fences everywhere. I wouldn't be able to hop on a four-wheeler and check the cows without opening 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gates. It was absolutely ridiculous. So we told them, nah, we're not interested. However, there are so many other farmers who have taken advantage of this, we'll call it free money or government money. It's not free. It comes with strings attached. That it's difficult to compete with them because they have wells that were drilled at, they only paid 2.5 cents on the dollar to have their wells drilled and their pipe installed underground and water was placed. We didn't want it. We don't need their help. We don't want their help. But you know what they'll do? They will fertilize. They'll fertilize your fields one time, and you pay 25% of the cost. They will lime your fields one time, and they'll pay 25% of the cost. They want access to your farm. That's what they want. Werner, what do you think about that? Is the same thing happening?
Basically, it's when you want to trap an animal, you have to put a bait in the trap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's what they have done. They have lured these farmers into believing that the government's on their side. I was at the Farmers Cooperative, probably a year ago, and I heard a new term. And what the farmers were complaining about, first of all, they look at me as an outsider because I'm not from Missouri. I wasn't born here. Our family, we don't have, family history here. I'm the first one of our family to move to Missouri. So I'm an outsider. I'm a foreigner here in the state of Missouri. And I was a foreigner in Virginia as well. But the farmers have really not talked to me. I'm really an outsider. And for some reason, about a year ago, farmers started opening up to me at the Farmers Co-op where we used to buy our supplies. And he said, what we really want, I mentioned this government soil and water conservation district and USDA, we'll call it a conspiracy to take over and destroy farms. This farmer was telling me that he wanted something called a flat floor. And a flat floor is his terminology. I guess that's a Missouri terminology or expression for he wanted a level playing field. He didn't want anybody to get government assistance because what he said was happening is these secret government programs would be unveiled and the same families would take advantage of these government programs and get the government money time after time after time. And none of the rest of us would have a chance at it because it would all be spent before the rest of us would even know about it. So it was secret information that was passed on to just a few farmers, and the same farmers got it over and over, and it was unfair. And what he meant by a flat floor is he wanted a level playing field where we all would have the same opportunities and no one would get government advantages. And it's an outrage. It really is an outrage at what the government's doing.
Vincent, may I cut in? I was aware
Absolutely.
of kind of a racket already from the old from the old country over there in Germany when they started up with the EU, the Mansholt plan. They had their favorites, who were getting all the grants. And when you as an ordinary farmer came there, you were being told, the money is already all spent, And I've seen so many farmers being sent down to the road of extinction, And I was aware of it. And the first few years here in Canada, here in New Brunswick.
Hold that thought. Werner, hold that thought. You and I are in total agreement. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you have the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Class, we're talking about the attack on the farmers, and it's not just here in the United States of America. Werner Bock was mentioning during the last segment that it happened in the old country, Germany. Werner, please continue.
Well, basically, I was well aware of it, and that was one of the reasons, too, why I left Germany, you know. And the biggest expense what we had as farmers were the cost of machinery, and when you rented the land, when you leased the land, the cost of leasing, you know. And I figured when here, once the government was looking for farmers from Europe to pick up where the local farmers had left off, and the land was basically dirt cheap, you know. But in hindsight, I can say it wasn't dirt cheap. You know, the cost I paid over the last 40-some years, it has become very expensive land. But that's just only something on the sideline. May I just put in something about the wetlands? You know,
Please do.
I went so far ahead, we went so far ahead, you know. The provincial government at the time, they held hearings. The Minister of the Environment held hearings and all across the province. And I attended one hearing there in Moncton. And basically I'd done my homework and I gave some very good arguments in front of a full house to the Minister of the Environment. And they had about three more hearings planned across the province, and within 3 days they announced that they shelved that project. That means, in other words, we have to get off our ass, do our homework, and confront them publicly. You know, when they come with those, projects, you know, that are completely out of touch with reality. You know, and here I want to say something else. When the farmers were farming organically, you know, there were plenty of fish in the rivers, you know, the environment was still okay. But as soon as the chemical farming, about 60, 70 years, and there's massive clear cutting in the forest, and herbicide application, 2.45T, Agent Orange and everything, were being used, that's when the population and the wildlife and everything dropped rapidly. So
there's no question about it. When I lived in Virginia, the common practice of harvesting trees was clear cutting, and they would come in with these machines and we just saw these trees off at the bottom. They had these four-wheeled, very large machines that had saws on them, and they just grapple the tree, saw it off, turn it 90 degrees, and lay it down. Go on to the next one, and you could cut down they could cut down let's say a 60-foot tree, 50-foot tree in a matter of just minutes, and lay it down on its side. Then they had a machine that would delimb the tree, take the limbs off, and they could. It was like a plague of locusts going through the woodlands and just cutting down trees, clear cutting. And what was left was stumps. And a very interesting thing. When we lived in Virginia, Werner, we had a farmhouse that was surrounded by woods on all sides, except for a little bit of area in the front where the driveway was. So the farm was completely surrounded by trees, and it was very, very pleasant. My parents lived 700 feet away, just 700 feet away, and their house was in the middle on a little knoll, just a little tiny hill. And it was so windy, I could go see my mom and dad, and I would get windburned from the wind 700 feet away from where our house is. The reason I'm mentioning this, Werner, is, when people look for a place to live and they think they want to have a great view and they want to be on top of a hill and be able to see all around them and enjoy that beautiful view, well, there's a price to pay. One is that you're visible, and two, that it's probably windy. And when we clear cut these trees and we just mow them down, the winds increase more and more, and then we have more erosion. Isn't that what you've seen in your farming life?
Basically, that's what happens to the rivers and brooks. And the silt, it covers over the spawning ground of the fish and so on. But that is not even the worst thing. The worst thing is then they do reforestation, what they call reforestation. And the softwood trees they plant, they have to be given an edge. So they apply Agent Orange and alike chemicals, that basically poison the soil and poison the water and the runoff that goes into the brook, And people get it, ultimately it ends up in people's wells, And here in Atlantic Canada and in the New England states, there's the highest rates of cancer and all kinds of diseases, heart disease, anything, you name it, in an area that where compared to where I came from in Europe, they didn't have so many illnesses. And when I came here and I saw huge tracts of forest land, and so the forest and the trees were always being called the green lungs, And I was wondering why there were so many sick people, so many people with heart attacks and cancer, But when I did my research there and documented it, I found out some of the reasons. And as I say, when people want to survive, and they want to see a future for their children, they better start getting away from that friggin' television and all the other, commercialized entertainment and dumb people down, and start using their brain again and doing some research from real sources and not from the mainstream media that is basically controlled by 4 or 5 big multinational corporations, and we know what agenda they got.
Werner, I'd like to share for a few seconds how we met. Class, this broadcast is something that does not normally happen. I got a call from Werner, and we talked for a few minutes, and we talked about farming. And we immediately became friends. It's almost like we're related. And I said to Werner, Werner, I've never done this before, but I am so impressed with what you're saying, and it parallels my experiences on our farm. I've only been farming for a little over 2.5 decades. I'm a first generation farmer. So I didn't learn from my parents. I'm learning the hard way. And I said, I've never put someone on who I haven't spent a lot of time interviewing prior to the broadcast. But Werner, let's do 2 hours together on Friday. And that's what's happening. So you're listening to this unfold live. No rehearsal. We're just putting our stories together, and they're the same stories. They're the same stories from New Brunswick, north of Maine, and Missouri, and Virginia, based on our combined experiences. That's what you're hearing live right now. Werner, is that exactly what happened?
Well, basically, we are under the gun all across the world, the people of the land. Yeah. But at first it's the people of the land, and then too many city people, they think they can be bystanders and watch it. But it's come to the cities too, you know.
Uh-huh. And here's and those who live in the cities, if you don't help your farmers, if you just become consumers or stay consumers, when everything collapses, your farming friends will probably survive, and they will be in charge. We farmers will be in charge of the food supply. It's as simple as that. So if you think you're immune from it, you're not. So I suggest you all get to meet and work with some farmers and try to buy directly from farmers if you can. Let's cut out the middleman. Let's cut out the bankers. And what's happening to farmers, they're lured into those big green tractors and that nice new shiny equipment. And the salespeople from these equipment supply companies let the farmers think that shiny tractor is going to make all the difference in the world. It's not. It's skills, it's knowledge, it's dedication, it's education, it's experimentation, and it's working together with other farmers. That's what makes the difference. And Werner, I can tell you that I do not have a new tractor. My newest tractor, my newest one, is a 1991. My oldest tractor is a 1974. And right after this broadcast, I'm going to hop on that 1974 Ford 3000 tractor. It's a little diesel tractor. And I'm going to spread the manure around our fields. And that's what we do. And that's one of the things that you and I wanted to talk about today, right? The experimentation that you've done with organic farming, which is what we're doing here, versus commercial farming with commercial fertilizers. And then there's the other kind of farming where you just rape the land, where you don't do anything. You just harvest and harvest and harvest, and you deplete the land till it's dead or near dead, right? Those are the three models.
Vincent, here comes something else in. They figure they can, even when you hang on, they try to drive you off. And this is what I've been documenting now for the last nearly 40 years. The illegal dumping of vegetation control chemicals, a la Agent Orange, and glyphosate, and Roundup, and very specialized chemicals, onto the land of those farmers that don't farm by the agenda that is being proposed by the experts in the Department of Agriculture. If you want to farm organically and you got a lot of money in the background, you know, that you can hang on for so many years, but once that money is gone in buying machinery and everything, then you are like a cow in the barn that has to be culled. She doesn't milk anymore for the local chamber of commerce and for the government.
Class, you're hearing it directly from the farmers, what we're experiencing. They're trying to drive us out of business. No question about it. The average age of a farmer is high 60s right now. Then what's going to happen? I'm 63. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
As your body ages, there is a 10% decline in your ability to repair each passing decade after the age 28. By age 40, your ability to repair from demanding manual labor, exercise, or a stressful desk job has declined by 12%. By using One World Whey, you supercharge your body's ability to repair and eliminate inflammation. Our unique frequency-encoded whey protein, coupled with our high-quality whey, improves your cell's ability to make protein, which is to say, repair itself.
My name is Jonathan Wright, and I'm 40 years old. I recently went from a desk job to a manual labor job. Normally, I'm worn out. With energy-enhanced One World Whey, I now recover so quickly that I can perform very hard work all day long. I use energy-enhanced One World Whey for breakfast and lunch, and I experience less hunger throughout the day. I have a 30% increase in energy, and I just feel better. I plan to make energy-enhanced One World Whey a permanent part of my lifestyle.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, libertyoncall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to libertyoncall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's libertyoncall.org.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Class, Werner Bock is with us. He's your newest USA Prepares instructor. Werner, we're talking about poisoning of the land. I just want to share a statistic with our broadcast class. All farms in the United States being considered by economic class in the year 2012, of all the farms, 75% of all farms have sales less than $50,000 a year. 75% of all the farms in the United States in the year 2012 have sales less than $50,000 a year. That's sales. That's not profit. That's sales. Only 25% have sales greater than $50,000 a year. So when you look at farmers and you wonder why their clothes are in tatters and they drive old trucks, now you know. Okay. And in terms of age, most of the farmers are between 55 and 64 years old. But a large percentage are 65 to 74 years old, and there is still a large percentage that is 75 years of age or older. Almost none are under 25 years old. You want to know how many? About 11,000 are under 25 years old. One of them would be our son. So that's kind of the snapshot of farmers. And Werner, please continue about the poisoning of the farms.
Well, basically, now the new kid on the block, the GMO, genetically modified crops, you know. And that's a whole other can of worms. There's been research had been done by Dr. Apat Pustai in Scotland several years back, where they didn't make just only 90-day feeding trials with GMO crops to laboratory animals, but they extended it to 3 years, and basically the result was that the rats used in the experiment, 1/3 of the young rats, they didn't even reach adulthood. They died before they reached adulthood.
Right.
And the ones that became pregnant, they had cancers all over, and after the third generation, they became sterile. Maybe this is one of the other avenues they pursue in order to achieve their 500 million total targeted population here on this planet, according to the Georgia Guidestones.
The Georgia Guidestones, yes. And, you may think about, if those of you who have been on the Beltway around Washington, D.C., and those many, many lanes of bumper-to-bumper traffic, just think of one of your Congress critters, one of your senators in one of those limousines looking at the traffic and saying, who are these people in front of us? Who are they? They're holding us up. We've got important things to do. Who are these people who are in our way, breathing our air, using our gasoline, consuming our resources? Think about that.
Basically, the roles are reversed. You know, they are getting a paycheck, courtesy of the taxpaying public and of the working people of this country. You know, they are supposed to be the servants. But now the servants, you know, they've committed so many criminal acts by selling off the assets of their owners, selling off portions of the country, you know, economic zones to China and what else, big multinational corporations and TPP, you know, they're basically international corporations, global corporations. They have basically more rights than the people who elect those politicians.
Well, we say here at USA Prepares, never re-elect anyone, and we mean it. Werner, during the next hour, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the experimentation that you've done with soils, some of the research that you've done with soils, what works and what doesn't work. And we have Jeannie on the line. Please hold through this top of the hour break and commercial announcements and news so that we can get you on the line with us. That's Jeannie from Missouri, and she's one of the gals who comes to the meetups. She's been to the expos, and She gives presentations on herbs. So we'll be right back with Werner Bock right after these few short commercial announcements, news, and I'm Vin Finelli, USA Prepares. Serious topic. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buy.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Today, more than ever, it's imperative that you protect your digital privacy. EDEC Digital Forensics, Signal Blocking, Anti-Radiation, Anti-Surveillance Faraday bags shield the contents of your phones, tablets, and key fobs from 4G, Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, NFC, and more. Find us at edecdf.com/radio or call us now at 805-222-4584. That's 805-222-4584. Radio listeners get 20% off your order.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked, hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. And I just have a brief announcement that next week, I can't say what day, we're going to do a special report on the radiation event that happened in North Carolina. We're going to do a special report on that, and I'd rather not say when it is because I don't want anything to prevent this information from getting out. Some of our faculty believe that there was a radioactive leak out of the Duke plant, and we're working on trying to prove that. And I've looked at the netc.com map, and I've seen some Radcon 4 spikes, as many as 4 yesterday, 1 this morning. And I saw for a very brief time one of those Radcon 4 alerts in North Carolina. So that's coming up, and we're going to do a special report on what happens if someone accuses you of a crime and calls Child Protective Services. What happens when those guys show up, even when you haven't done anything wrong? And what happens when someone calls 911 and says shots are fired and they're being shot at by you? I'm going to tell you what happens. It's unbelievable. We're going to have the people who have been arrested on the air with us. And I can't tell you when that is either, to protect the people who are going to be on the air with me. But expect that next week. Werner Bock is with us, and he's in New Brunswick. Werner, we have Jeannie on the line. She's in Missouri, and she has a brief announcement for us about herbs. Jeannie, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, Vincent. I'll be as brief as I can. I was running in and out, and I had your show playing and heard you talking about soils, and I thought this would be a good time to make this announcement about a walk that we are having tomorrow, the 13th. We do these herbal walks. We try to do them one per season, but this is the first one we've managed to get in the wintertime. So it will be a small group. A lot of people are kind of wussy. I think people need to get out there and breathe some fresh air and get some knowledge about our wild area and what's happening to our environment. Bo Brown is leading the walk. He is the best ever. He's a walking encyclopedia. He knows birds. He knows wild plants. He also does.
Jeannie, where is this walk?
Busick's Park, or conservation area, I think is the proper term, is between Ozark and Branson, right off
Busick's
of 65
Park.
Highway.
What's the time?
They are meeting at Evans Road in 65. Apparently, there's a commuter parking area.
Do you have a phone number? Do you have a phone number that can be called for more information?
Let me give you my sister's phone number. She has been the contact person for the Springfield Area Herb Society since the 1980s.
All right, let's do this quick.
Not changed.
Let's do this quickly.
417.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
725. 5134.
Okay. And do you have a website that we can go to?
Yes, and they are also on Facebook. You'll need to Google Springfield Area Herb Society. So they do have their website. I talked to the webmaster on Monday, and he's working on the site presently. We are on Facebook, and Bo Brown is also on Facebook, and he has a website. I believe his website is First Earth, because he does primitive tools and stuff, making primitive fish hooks and stuff.
Jeannie, here's what we're going to do. I have your phone number, and I will make the announcement, and people can call that if they're interested in coming to the Springfield, Missouri area and attend this herb walk tomorrow. That's 417-725-5135. Excuse me, 417-725-5134. Springfield Area Herb Society. Jeannie, thank you so much for being with us. Werner Bock, we were talking about the plight of the farmer. We were talking about glyphosates. We were talking about the poisoning of the land. Now, are you saying that the land has been poisoned from above?
Yes, I've followed this up for nearly 40 years. At first, I could pinpoint what was the cause, why suddenly within a few days a crop would burn right up, And then I noticed some private aircraft from a neighboring airfield would show up, make a few passes over the field, and then fly away again, and within a few days that field would burn right up. And I followed this up. I've taken thousands of photos over the years. I've brought it to the attention of the Department of Agriculture, the Department of the Environment, and to the law enforcement, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and basically it always was being swept underneath the carpet. In 1986, I had initiated a criminal investigation. It was asked for by the then Deputy Minister of Agriculture here in New Brunswick, Tim Andrews, and where 4 fields of winter wheat had been killed off, and it always was the same pattern. A big blob was being dumped on each field. Only in the corners it still grew normal. And basically, there was a criminal investigation, and against the instructions of the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, the samples were being misrouted. And then when I followed up a week later, At the provincial government department, I was being told that half of the samples had been destroyed. And the rest of the samples were being mishandled, kept at room temperature, the soil samples. And then finally, half a year later, they forwarded them to the appropriate lab, and they couldn't find any of the harmful chemicals anymore.
So do you think that the evidence was tampered with or the results were not accurate?
Well, basically, there was both. Half of the samples, the plant samples, were being destroyed upon the instruction of the one official in the Department of Agriculture, and the rest of the samples, the soil samples, was being kept at room temperature for quite a time before it finally was forwarded to the Atlantic Pesticide Lab in Kentville, Nova Scotia. And then about half a year later, I got a report and they couldn't detect the chemicals we were looking for. And those chemicals we were looking for, they had a degrading time of 2 to 5 weeks. So much for the experts.
Werner, yesterday, right after the broadcast, I was on that 1974 Ford tractor spreading the manure around our fields. And the cloud cover was really low, and you couldn't see anything above the clouds. And I heard this very, very loud, very, very heavy aircraft droning above us. It wasn't fast. It was a very powerful, low, I believe by the sound of it, very, very heavy aircraft flying above us. Couldn't see it through the clouds. The clouds were low, and it lasted a long time. I could feel the vibration of this aircraft above us. It was not a helicopter.
Most
above us.
likely, it could have been a Hercules.
Yeah, I think it was Hercules.
That's
what it felt. And I could feel the vibration. I had earplugs on. I had a knit hat on. I had a jumpsuit, an insulated jumpsuit on. And I was on this diesel tractor, which is noisy. I had earplugs in my ears, and I could feel and hear the sound of this aircraft above us, even operating this tractor, with the diesel engine. So it was really loud. And then, then I heard 2 massive explosions. Boom, boom, that fast. And it was so loud that it shook the tractor. I literally thought that this cast iron tractor broke. I believed at this, when it happened, that the tractor was going to crack right under the seat. I thought that it had split the cast iron tractor. I thought it was the tractor failing. I didn't think it was outside the tractor. My wife, this is a 47 horsepower tractor. My wife was on her 40 horsepower tractor in another field. My son was on his 40 horsepower tractor in another field. So we were all separated. We all heard this, and we all thought that something happened to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally felt this tractor shake, and so did they. And they all came to where I was, thinking that something happened to me.
Well,
this is very weird.
They got they're testing out all kinds of weapons, for example, sonic weapons. But since you mentioned this big airplane and what I'd seen, Hercules, 4-engine plane, this happened several years back. It was come from the general direction of the Fredericton Airport. It's been used at the Canadian Armed Forces Base Gagetown. And this big dark green Hercules, it came from the direction when it was at the bottom end of the field that targeted the pasture. He banked at 45 degrees, and then he flew at treetop level, parallel to the field, roughly about 100 yards upwind, and that field was leaning into the wind that day. And when he came to the upper end of the field, there are woods and there are pine trees that were sticking out, and I thought he would shear off the tops of some of the pine trees. But short before he reached them, he revved up the engine, and within maybe 5 or 6 or 8 feet, he hopped right over top of them. And then he proceeded in the general direction of the Canadian Armed Forces Air Force Base in Greenwood, Nova Scotia. And I've had those incidences several times happen. And in the afternoon, the cattle wouldn't touch the grass. After that, the cattle wouldn't touch the pasture anymore. That was downwind from where that plane has flown.
Class, what you just heard is a report about what happened and the cow's reaction. I'm telling you, we have the same thing here. If the cows don't think that the grass is right, they will not eat it. They will not eat it. If they don't think the hay is right, they will not eat it. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Average weight lost in the study was 8.3 pounds and 4.2 inches total in first month. Results vary. Call to cancel within 14 days and return remaining non-frozen food for a refund, less return shipping. Free shakes with first order only.
All right, guys. The holidays are over and we have got some weight to lose. Let's do this. It's going to take pizza, some pasta, some chicken parm. Great foods. All part of the awesome new Turbo 10 program from Nutrisystem. You'll love it. Money back guaranteed. Lose up to 10 pounds and 5 inches in your first month. Look, you keep putting it off, you'll keep putting it on. So call Nutrisystem today and get 4 weeks of delicious meals and 1 week of Nutrisystem's new Turbo Shakes free. Packed with protein plus probiotics to help support digestive health and bust that gut. You'll also get a week of Nutri-Crush Shakes to crush hunger free. Come on, lose up to 10 pounds and 5 inches in your first month. Call 866-987-THIN. 866-987-THIN. Make the call. 866-987-THIN.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Class Werner Bock's with us, and Werner, I just want to take a few seconds to let our class know what I see right this moment from netc.com. There's a map with radiation counts in the United States, and Idaho, Radcon 4, Idaho, California, Southern California, Radcon 4, 2 spots, Radcon 4 in Southern California. Florida, the western coast of Florida, the Gulf Coast, Radcon 4, right this moment. Just wanted to let you know that it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And the United States is peppered with Radcon 3 and a few Radcon 4s, mostly Radcon 3. Radcon 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 incidents, 16 incidents of Radcon 3 right now. Just for information. If you'd like to see it yourself, netc.com. netc.com. Werner, we're talking about the poisoning of the land, and do you think that it's intentional to run us farmers off the land?
It is intentionally. Then, in the end, the only ones are left that are towing the line of the Department of Agriculture, GMO crops. And GMO crops, here comes something else in. My friend reminded me to bring that up. I remember there years ago when the farmers were growing the conventional varieties of corn. When the cornfield was next to the woods or anywhere where there were wildlife coming in, you would see quite a bit of the stretch of corn along those areas being crushed, where the raccoons go in, the bears go in, and the deers go in and feed on, you know. And now the last few years since they go this GM corn, there are no crushed corn rows, no crushed corn plants along the woods or any kind of places where wildlife can come in.
Let me see if I've got this right. Werner, you're saying that, I believe what you're saying, don't let me put words in your mouth, but are you saying that the deer are not eating the corn in the cornfields as they used to?
No, they don't. And besides the point, with this massive spraying in the forested areas, you know, where there's a clear cutting, you know, clearing off the hardwood and clearing off the competition of the small hardwood trees after it has been clear cut, with where they're competing with their softwood plantations, you know, massive use of glyphosate and 2.45T and all those chemicals, you know,
yes.
That basically most of the deers are gone.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they did in Virginia when we lived there a little over 10 years ago. They would clear cut and they would plant loblolly pine, softwoods, and they would grow very quickly. And those are the pine trees that grow very straight. And they use them for making power poles and telephone poles and electric poles.
Here they're using red pine. But anyway, don't mind if I regress something where we were talking about where the big farms, you know, that toe the government line, where they are being supported. I remember that in the 70s there was a member of the legislature. I'd been in contact with her and told about the things I'd investigated. And she said, I had it with the government. I'm getting out, you know. And before her term had expired, she went out of politics. But she said, I sent you something. So she sent me the government account book, the government blue book. And I found the names of the big farms around here, you know, the ones with the big silos. And they had quite sizable amounts, anywhere from $10,000 to over $70,000. And they were listed there. And they were hidden away under payments to vendors. So
it sounds like what I've been talking. It sounds like what I've been talking about, where the same families get the government money. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, where you said and now the people in your area start waking up about and talking about they want a level playing field.
Yes. Actually, what we really want is the government to get out of our way. That's what we want. As a matter of fact, we're going to build and have village meetings talking about what we need to do to survive, because the average age of the farmer in the United States is getting older, and the average size of farms is getting larger. That means that the smaller farms are dying and going away and being bought up by larger farms.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Average weight lost in a study was 8.3 pounds to 4.2 inches total in first month. Results vary. Call to cancel within 14 days and return remaining non-frozen food for a refund less return shipping. Free shakes with first order only.
All right, guys. The holidays are over and we have got some weight to lose. Let's do this. It's going to take pizza, some pasta, some chicken parm. Great foods. All part of the awesome new Turbo 10 program from Nutrisystem. You'll love it. Money back guaranteed. Lose up to 10 pounds and 5 inches in your first month. Look, you keep putting it off, you'll keep putting it on. So call Nutrisystem today and get 4 weeks of delicious meals and 1 week of Nutrisystem's new Turbo Shakes free. Packed with protein plus probiotics to help support digestive health and bust that gut. You'll also get a week of Nutri-Crush Shakes to crush hunger free. Come on, lose up to 10 pounds and 5 inches in your first month. Call 866-987-THIN. 866-987-THIN. Make the call. 866-987-THIN.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let Let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Yes, Werner Bock is with us, and he's a lifelong farmer, and originally from Germany, now lives in New Brunswick, Canada, on the East Coast. Werner, can we talk, let's talk about cattle mutilation, and also, but let's start with the three types of use of the land, the experimentation that you have done, your research, and what I've done. What I'm talking about is what happens when we use commercial fertilizer, then we have to use lime. Compare that to do nothing and just cut the hay off the field year after year after year, or season after season after season. And then compare that with rotate the fields, use the cows to fertilize the fields, and farm organically by spreading the manure around, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing right after this broadcast. Can you share with our class what those three types?
Vincent, there has been, a few years ago, I came across a research that had been done at the Napan Research Station in the neighboring province in Nova Scotia. It was an 80-year-long Greenland trial, and they had split a plot of hay ground into three parts. One part, they did not fertilize it at all, neither with commercial nor with organic fertilizer, with manure. The second part, they put about every 3 years a good coat of manure on, and the third part, they fertilized it with commercial fertilizer. And over the 80-year trial, the hay field that had been fertilized with the manure, the traditional way, the way farmers were fertilizing their hay field, it performed the best, And the fields that had been fertilized with commercial fertilizer, every so often it was necessary to lime that field because the commercial fertilizer that was being used, it was acidifying the soil. And the field number one, where no manure had been put on or fertilizer, the hay was only cut, the yield dropped to about 40% of the yield in the traditionally fertilized, with organic fertilizer, and then it stayed there over the 80-year period at 45%. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen here, no matter how much manure I put on, and initially we were being told it was that the land didn't grow, it was the lime. It needed lime. And what I found out over the years, when your pH is above 5.5, you can easily grow good Timothy grass, and you even grow red clover. Because I was comparing it to one field where one half I'd limed and the other half I didn't lime. And there was no difference. Except the part I'd limed, they wanted to show, basically it started growing too good, so they burnt it off. And you will see that in the YouTube there from 2007. There's a 92-minute raw footage YouTube.
Class, and you can get to these YouTube videos if you go to usaprepares.com, page number 1. One of the top posts, actually the top post, is a link to Werner Bock's YouTube video, and then you can get to the rest of his videos. Werner, I have experimented on our own farms almost exactly the same way.
And Vincent,
yes.
There was another 60-acre field Basically, what the old fellow said, you could chase a chicken for 2 miles through the standing hay and still see it run. About every foot or every 2 feet, you had one stalk of Timothy. No tillering whatsoever. And this was the second or the third year. I thought, well, as I say, I had to get roughly about 300 acres back into production, and just a one-man show, And this field was fairly wet, so I focused at first on the fields that could give me for the next year could give me a crop that were better drained and so on, and I'd learned already. But anyway, this one field there in the fall, I started plowing about 3 or 4 times around, and turned the soil over about 8 or 9 inches. And I was surprised. The next, then it turned wet in the fall, and then it freeze up. And the next spring, I had to put in about 200 acres, and I didn't come to do anything with that field anymore. And then when haying time came, I wanted to just mow it, and I was surprised where I had turned the soil over only, without fertilizer, without manure or anything. The Timothy and the red clover was grown up to my belly button.
Wow.
But right beside the furrow, where the top layer was still intact, it was still the same disastrous result. You still could chase a chicken for 2 miles and still see it in the so-called standing hay, And that's when I drew the conclusion. That field had been sealed off with those harmful chemicals, growth-preventing chemicals, for years. But as soon as I turned that contaminated layer under and I got some fresh soil to the top, it started growing again. And this is where basically those experts in the Department of Agriculture have been bullshitting the farmers for decades. You have to plow up your hay ground every 3 or 4 years and reseed it if you want a good hay crop. And that was a bunch of nonsense. It fed lots of money into the pockets of the machinery dealers and into the fuel companies and the seed companies. But it left the farmers out. Sooner or later, his financial resources were exhausted.
Well, let me share with you what my experience is, and it's virtually the same. We used to listen to other farmers in Virginia, and they would fertilize their fields, and they would lime their fields, and we would have a tremendous growth on the fields with grass when we fertilized, and then it would taper off, and then within a couple years, maybe 4 years, we were back to where we started. So it was an expensive proposition. So we stopped doing that. When we moved to Missouri, what we did was some of the fields had been neglected, and they've just been cut for hay, year after year after year. And what we did was we put the cows on those fields, and we started spreading the manure with a chain harrow, which is what I'm going to do right after the broadcast. Yeah. And we started rotating where the cows grazed, and we would let them eat the top part of the grass, and then we'd move them to another part of the field, and so forth. And what we found out was just doing that, just spreading that manure around, it really increased the vigor of the grass. It really grew so much better. And we haven't fertilized in years. We did a little experiment. We used some commercial fertilizer on one field, and we don't need to do that anymore. And we haven't done it for years. And the grass is better than it's ever been.
Vincent, basically some of those chemicals, they get activated by UV light. And when you create, and basically they sterilize the upper soil layer. And when it is sterilized, then especially shallow rooting plants like grasses and so, they when the soil is sterilized, they can grow. And the same way, what I noticed in the clover plants, they roughly about an inch below the soil surface. The roots, they are all basically gnarled and injured and corroded. And most of there are hardly any of those nitrogen-fixing nodules on the roots.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can, those chemicals, they interact with the UV light. And when you mulch or you put a mulch layer on, the UV light cannot get to the soil. So you create a biologically very active layer there, and a protective layer, and then it will grow again.
And one of the things that I did several years ago was we have a four-wheeler, a small four-wheeler, and I took a 5-gallon bucket and I drilled small holes in it. I put clover seeds in that bucket, drilled maybe 30 or 40 little holes in the bucket that the seeds could come out, and I rode all over the field, fields, I should say, and I very lightly dropped red and white clover seeds in the field. And since then, they've taken off, and we actually let some of our fields grow to where the clover goes to seed before we cut the hay. And it's not ideal for the cows, but there's a trade-off between getting seeds back and nutrition for the cows and protein. And what I do is I feed the cows hay that I've rolled up in these 1,000-pound rolls, and I unroll it in strips so that the cows, as they eat
stand at the manger.
Right, and they eat the hay, and they drop the seeds, and then they step the seeds into the ground, and they do all the work for us. And it really has improved our fields. So we take grass from one field and put it as hay in another field, unroll it, and now we have warm season grasses, cool season grasses, and it really works well for us. So we just don't have one kind of grass in a field. Are you doing the same thing?
Basically, that's what I was doing. And I tried anything, to get the soil going again. And as soon as the soil got going again, there's those flying cowboys, they kept dumping that stuff on to show that it doesn't work. You have to farm the way those experts, quotation marks, in the Department of Agriculture tell you. And they hope that sooner or later I would have been financially exhausted, that the big farm on the hill, the big corporate farm, that they could take over.
Right. And that's, we're going to talk about how people are run out of their farms here in Missouri. We're going to talk about that next week. We're going to talk about what happens when your neighbor calls 911 on you and the cops show up and the SWAT team shows up. We're going to talk about that. This is intimidation. This is to drive us out. Werner Bock's with us. We'll be right back after these few short commercial announcements. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Average weight lost in the study was 8.3 pounds to 4.2 inches total in first month. Results vary. Call to cancel within 14 days and return remaining non-frozen food for a refund less return shipping. Free shakes with first order only.
All right, guys. The holidays are over and we have got some weight to lose. Let's do this. It's going to take pizza, some pasta, some chicken parm. Great foods. All part of the awesome new Turbo 10 program from Nutrisystem. You'll love it. Money back guaranteed. Lose up to 10 pounds and 5 inches in your first month. Look, you keep putting it off, you'll keep putting it on. So call Nutrisystem today and get 4 weeks of delicious meals and 1 week of Nutrisystem's new Turbo Shakes free. Packed with protein plus probiotics to help support digestive health and bust that gut. You'll also get a week of Nutri-Crush Shakes to crush hunger free. Come on, lose up to 10 pounds and 5 inches in your first month. Call 866-987-THIN. 866-987-THIN. Make the call. 866-987-THIN.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, KD Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KD. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to kdarmor.com. Come and take it.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Class, Werner Bock is with us, and you can look him up on YouTube. You go to YouTube and then search for Werner Bock, and you'll find his videos, as well as if you go to usaprepares.com. And some of them are very disturbing. And the next topic in these few short minutes we have left is about cattle mutilation. Werner, you talk about lasers being used. I've seen a laser in use. I've seen a green laser, and it cut a hole in a piece of plastic like instantly. It's blinding, but it's silent, and if you're not looking for it, you wouldn't see it. What happened to your cows?
Basically, I've been in a 40-year battle when the proverbial manure was hitting the fan, and I had to learn fast, and basically they couldn't get me in any other way off the, where they figured they wanted to get me off the farm, and this was being told to me, sooner or later we get you out of there, and I was being told, the land was granted to our forefathers and their descendants for all times, and when I said, how about when they sell it? It belongs to them anyway. And this is roughly about a similar situation as you encountered when you came into a new state where you're not part of the local community, of the old family. And among the old families, there are some pretty rotten bastards among them. And they got very conniving ways of getting their way. But anyway,
you're absolutely right, and we're seeing it. We saw it in Virginia. We saw it with the good old boys who stole the land from the Indians, and their forefathers did, and then and they thought that anyone who came in to Virginia in the rural South was, if you weren't part of one of those major families, you just weren't welcome.
Well, it's a similar situation here in Canada, and especially in the Maritimes. Those were the earliest settled areas here of North America. You know, I think St. John, New Brunswick is the oldest incorporated city in North America. You know, but anyway, and that's when that ordeal started. And I knew about lasers, but at the time I didn't draw the connection. As I say, after I was 5 years here, I had invested all the money from the old country here, and there was no more money coming, and I was fairly self-sufficient. I was building my own machinery and so, and because I'd seen over in the old country, most of the farmers were being taken down when they couldn't keep up with the payments on the equipment and so on. And so I figured I had an edge. You know, I could survive where the others, had to give up. But I was determined. I wanted to stay a farmer. You know. So anyway.
Me too.
But
Werner, very very quickly, were your cows and calves and heifers shot with lasers to kill them slowly?
Well, from mutilating them from the outside, and what I found out, what was the most hideous way they were killing them was they focused the laser, can be done from a mile, from 2 miles away, on the nose of the animals, and with a heat-producing laser, and modify the atmospheric air, oxidize the atmospheric nitrogen, and convert it into nitrogen oxide. And nitrogen oxide is a toxic, highly corrosive gas at any concentrations. And that's when I really got the idea about it, when I started doing autopsies. And initially, when I saw the veterinary, when there was massive corrosive damage to the stomach of the first animal they killed, and there was massive hemorrhaging of the heart muscle. But this is later on, you know, in the YouTube, there's scientific publication research published in PubMed, and I studied it, and I went in contact with the scientists, some of the scientists who did the studies, and they confirmed everything what I, as a layperson, so-called layperson, had found out, you know, with the rudimentary knowledge about the sciences.
Werner,
this is basically... Vincent, this is basically the big can of worms, and what has been done to the animal has been done to so many people, you know, and it's a cash cow for the medical profession.
You're absolutely right, Werner. We're going to have you come back again and again and again on this broadcast, and I'm delighted to have you as part of our faculty. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Thank you, Werner. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620.
Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.